their confidence in their belief system so that they can manifest a soulmate. And then also, I always wanted to be a published author. I wanted to write books. I wanted my own makeup line. I wanted to, motivate people and do all these types of things. So through the life coaching, it actually taught me how to run my business better, because you cannot be a life coach if you don't know how to run your business, because it's actually a very intricate business that people don't realize. And so not only did I learn how to run my business, but then I learned how to help other people run their business and change their mindset, heal their heart. And, along with that, God just kind of gifted me with like prophetic gifts, and I can see into people, and I have a certain type of energy that heals them. So basically, God allowed me to use my beautiful heart in order to help other people and create a system from all of it.
I love all that. I love your energy and everything that you're trying to do. Life coach, helping people with their businesses, writing books. That's all amazing. But I'm gonna bring it back a little bit. As far as the life coach, how did you develop your audience and who you're trying to reach?
Okay, so for that was a different type of audience. And how can I explain this? Okay, so when I'm blogging, that's one business. And it's more of, so I grew up in the projects. I know Black people like the back of my hand. I know what they like. So I serve that to them. And then on the other side of me, I'm this being of light. I'm a genius. And so being my authentic self on my personal page actually attracted this other level of audience to me. And also, I hire millionaire coaches to teach me how to, how to speak, how to write, what to say. But generally, it's just showing up as your authentic self, speaking to their problems. And then you attract this kind of soulmate audience, because you're not just speaking basic things, right? I'm just really speaking from my soul. And since I speak from my soul, I attract like some of the most amazing people in the world, and I can help them shift in ways that no one else can.
Um, what was my question? I had something on the top of my mind. How important it is to have a mentor when you're trying to give value to people. As a coach, having a coach, how important do you think that aspect is of trying to show people um, that it's important to have a coach? Because sometimes a lot of people don't want to hire people or have someone coach them that doesn't have their own coach, if that makes sense.
Well, I mean, to be perfectly honest, you don't have to have a coach to know how to coach people, but you have to have some type of coach to help you with your own things, because we can clearly see what's going on in someone else's life, but we're unable to often see ourselves. And so to think about coaches, some of my best coaches are like my friends, right? Those are my coaches. But at the same time, like when it comes to business, I consistently invest in coaches, because um, when you work with someone who is in the same business as you and they are aligned, they help keep you going and they help keep you motivated. And it brings you a sense of, hey, well, this is what I was going through. And then I see how this coach has helped me. And then it helps you have more gratitude for yourself and the results that you get from your clients. Like one recent coach that I hired, she just like does tapping, and it's like I never thought I would do tapping in my life. It just sounded so whack to me, right? But I tap, and I started listening to what she's actually saying while she's tapping, and I healed like so many money beliefs that I had, and visibility blocks. And so I'm grateful that I invested in her, because I got a blessing. And then the other day, I think I took a Canva masterclass or something with this girl, and it was just random. I didn't expect to get much from it. I was literally just supporting her because I know she's, very consistent in her business. And I got something from that. one of my clients, she gives blowjob master classes. So I went on ahead and took her master class too, and I learned a lot. I was like, oh my gosh. So, just being a lifelong student, then you're always able to inject new things into your clients. And I think that's what's most important, is being able to inject new things.
I think that's amazing. Being a student, always a learner, and just being present. Even if you don't intend to learn something, you're present. So you're able to learn. You're open minded. So that's amazing. I read one of your posts about 2013 when you were searching for jobs before you led to your own blogging journey. Can you kind of tell me about that when you had when you were working for someone before you kind of noticed that this isn't for you and you had way more to offer?
Oh, wow. Yeah, that was such a rough time period. So I was working for a guy. He's like a locksmith, really nice guy. And he had to have someone there a couple hours a day to answer the phone via that was like state requirements for his business or whatever. So he ended up hiring me. I hadn't had a job in probably over a decade at that point, like, because I don't really do jobs. And, I'm working for him, and he's like really not giving me good instructions. And I'm trying my absolute best to kind of figure out how I can serve his business, because I do really, really good with just working, but it's kind of hard. He had me calling people on the phone, cold calling churches, like asking them, do they need a locksmith or whatever. And I tried to put like a little spreadsheet together for him. And it was just okay. The office was like really bland and whack. It was like in our little rented building. And yeah. And at the time, I didn't even have a car. So I was like catching the bus to work. And like, it was a very crazy experience, because I'm like, I'm too cute to be on the bus stop. Like, and so it was just so humbling. And then it was like Martin Luther King Day one day, and he's like, oh, you don't have to come to work because it's Martin Luther King Day. I said, oh, cool. And so I called the next day, and he's like, yeah, you don't have to come. The internet is down. I called the next day, and he's like, yeah, the internet is down again. By the third day, I realized he was just giving me the script and that he was firing me. So I said, okay. So I told this guy what happened. And this guy, me and him had been talking for a while. We were friends. And, he was a pretty successful man. And he was like, well, I'll pay you $900 to start me a blog and monetize it for me. And I was like, okay, like no man had ever valued my information enough to pay me for it. So I was like, oh my gosh, cool, right? And so I put together his blog, and the first month he's like, oh my God, what is taking so long? And I'm like, like this is a skill, like it's going to take a minute or so. And, by the second month, I got the blog up. I decided, who his target audience was going to be. I'm writing his posts. Basically, I'm just using the writing that I write on my website that everybody was ignoring. And I would put it on his website. And because he had doctor in front of his name, a black man, oh my God, the target audience, black women, they ate it up. I used to watch them like share the blogs and say, oh my gosh, this is so good. But I would like post the same blog on my Facebook fan page and my website. It could be the same exact fans. They would not pay it any attention. And so anyways, long story short, he ends up making like at least 50,000 a month before the year is over with. He ends up making $1 million off this blog. And I remember asking him to borrow like $1,100 or something. And he said, no, he didn't mix business with pleasure. And so, after a while, I ended up quitting. I didn't have any hard feelings, because I'm like one of those people, I'm super understanding. If somebody tells me no, like, that's how people are. Everybody is not like super kind like me, and I get it. And so anyways, I go back to put my blog up, and it wasn't making money. I'm like, how is this making money with my stuff? But I couldn't get my own blog to make, it was making money, but not a lot of money like his. And so I just go to the bathroom floor one day, and I said, God, I know I'm supposed to be patient, but I need money to pay my bills right now. I was crying literally on the floor. I was just having a nervous breakdown. Like I could not take it anymore. And then the very next day, I woke up and I started making six figures. Like money just became easy to me all of a sudden. Like it was just coming, 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 coming. And within a couple months, I went to the dealership. I remember going to the bank and taking out over $10,000 in cash and just seeing it in my hand, taking it to the dealership and buying my luxury car cash. And I took my friend to Hawaii, and obviously I went from like 5,000 followers to a 500,000 followers. So it was like quite a journey. And I do want to tell people I worked 16, 17, 18, 20-hour days before I got on the bathroom floor and it wasn't working. I worked less harder after I prayed than I did before I said that prayer.
I want to tap into the part when you said your blocking didn't work until after you prayed. I want my audience to kind of know what changed in that time. What did you do differently other than working less?
Okay, that's a really good question. I love that. So, what changed is this man. I watched him make money from my writing. So, I shifted from, you can't tell me my writing isn't good. I knew my writing was good. It was validated and I knew it was worth something. So, I knew that I should make at least six figures if this man was making seven figures. Like, I'm like, I should make at least six figures. And so what changed is energy, because money is energy, and so is submission to God. See, before that, I was paying tithes and I was doing all the things that religiously I was told that I was supposed to do and that God would honor that. And that was more so of a hope. I was hoping, 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 hoping. But when I got on the bathroom floor, that was called surrender, because I had tried to do it all on my own. And I realized there was no way out of this except for God. And so even though a lot of people get on the bathroom floor and they cry and they pray to God, I believe that was one of the reasons why God just, he answered me overnight, because I surrendered. And in that surrender, nobody can ever take credit for my blog. It's always God. No matter how successful I become, whenever I tell that story, it always goes back to God, because God wanted the credit. I surrendered and I felt worthy and deserving. There was no in between, or maybe I'm worth six figures. It was like, no, I want six figures and I should be making six figures and I should have a lot of money to pay my bills. And God, you said, and one thing that I learned in church is that God has to keep his word to you. The words that he says in the Bible about your prosperity and things. So that was also in the back of my mind, because the preacher taught me really well. So the preacher taught me well, and then I surrendered. And then, faith without works is dead. I was doing the work. I had the water faucet, which was the blog. So then I surrendered and God said, okay, there you go.
That's amazing. Sometimes you just got to humble yourself and believe God is there for you. Before we continue, I want my audience to be able to tap into that. What three tips or would you give to a man or a woman that's trying to tap into that energy with God, regardless of what they're trying to accomplish?
Okay, that's a good question. So what I would advise is to get up every morning and first to say thank you. Literally, just thank God for waking you up this morning, because he did not have to wake you up. And that is also a sense of gratitude. So when you have gratitude for God waking you up, and it's a feeling, and gratitude is a vibration. So love is the highest vibration in the world. Gratitude is like right underneath it. And so as soon as you do that, not only are you waking up in the morning, but you're giving, the greatness to God, but you're also lifting your spirit up, right? And so the second thing to do is maybe to have a Bible verse. I used to teach all my clients this, like take any Bible verse. Like I used to study Matthew 6:25 through 34. I used to have it memorized. I probably still do, but it's called Do Not Worry. And because it says, Solomon, look how God, dresses the flowers, and you're a human, so of course he's going to love you more than he does the flowers and the birds. So of course he's going to feed you, right? And then I learned another game is that when you are worried and you go to that Bible verse, what you do is go from the negative one, which means your spirit is down, and you shift it over into the positive one, which is let's say Romans 8:28. And we know that God does all things for the good of those who love him and are called according to his purpose. So that's a different energy from you worrying versus you knowing that God is working everything for your good, right? And so now when you're waking up in the morning, you're in good energy. And so the third part about it, now that you know God is working out everything for your good, get up and do the work as if you know God is working everything for your good, like knowing, right? So there's a difference between hope and knowing. That's two different levels. The most successful people in the world operate from this state of knowing. They just know they're going to make money every day. They know they're going to be successful. They know they're going to attract opportunities. And literally, that's success.
That was amazing. You got to operate on that belief, have that belief system, believing that you accomplish anything. I have another question from our audience who's listening. Let's say they're blogging as well, but they don't know how to monetize it as if you did it. What would you tell that man or woman to encourage them in that journey as far as monetizing their blogging?
That's a good question again. Okay, so blog monetization, like we have came a long way since I started back in 2013, and there's so many ways to monetize your blog. Like I used to just monetize my blog with Google AdSense, and then there was this company called like Rev Content. Then there was another company where you would do like sponsored posts, but I remember they stopped paying me, so I stopped dealing with them because I'm like, y'all not about to get over on me. And so then there's also sponsorships, going after sponsorships. Like instead of you saying add dollars, you can find somebody and you could be like, say you find a doctor and you're like, hey, you want to advertise on my blog? This is my demographic. It's going to be $20,000 a month. Or you go to other companies online and you find them and then they sponsor your post. But most importantly, what everybody is doing now is if you have a blog, you need to create products and services to sell to your traffic. And the easiest way to do that is simply to have affiliate links that are products and services that someone else already has already created, and then you pretty much get half of it. So now you know so many ways to monetize, but more importantly, you can save yourself a lot of stress and time if you simply hire someone who has already accomplished it. Because the reason my blog was successful is because this mentor, this man who owns Black Sports Online, shouts out to him, Robert Littell, he's the one that taught me how to blog. He pushed me into it. Like he just basically kept me going. And he said he knew that I was going to be highly successful. So he was willing to push me. But it was so many things that he was teaching me to the point where if my blog went down, I didn't need a technical support team. I could literally fix my own blog, technical back end, like everything. So hiring a mentor these days is the name of the game. A lot of people don't realize that you are an investment, right? Like you'll pay your bills, you'll go out to eat, you'll do all these things, but a lot of people do not invest in a mentor, right? So that you can get the knowledge to live your best life, because money is energy. And when somebody gives you a strategy and you know that strategy is successful, they're transferring their confidence to you. So there's no way you can't feel like, oh, I can't win. You already know you can win. So basically, you're not only paying for a strategy, but you're paying for the confidence to keep you going until it's your turn to take off.
No, that was amazingly well said. I love that. You're just investing in yourself, and you're just kind of eliminating those little mistakes you might have made with investing in a mentor. So now you're saving time, which is very valuable. Um,
Very
once,
valuable because people trade. That's another thing too. Like a blog, at first you're trading time for money, but after a while it becomes residual income where you're no longer trading your time for money because you started making money off blogs you wrote like 2 years ago or something. So it like just all adds up. Like some days you can wake up and your blog has already made $300 before you went to work, and it made that overnight. And so, yeah, that's most importantly, like get the sponsorships and stuff so that you're not blogging 25 hours a day. It's only 24, right? Because you don't want to keep trading your time for money because that's not real freedom.
it's not, I agree. Um, I would like to tap into your books. Can't Force a Man to Value You. What inspired that? And what what did you want your audience to take away from that when you did write that?
You're good. Okay, so my book, You Can't Force a Man to Value You, Becoming a High Value Woman and Attracting Your Dream Man, came from me watching my blog audience. Like they would comment, and a lot of times they would comment like negative things. And I would just like click on their name and I would like go to their page and I'm prophetic. So I can read into people way more than they are aware of. And so I could start seeing, how they were living their life. And a lot of women were in toxic relationships with men. And because I pretty much attract like really great men, I wanted to teach them how to have healthy relationships because I wanted to improve love in the Black community. And I thought like also like I'm highly successful. And I realized that highly successful women like me kind of tend to operate in a lot of masculine energy. And we feel like, oh, I'm successful, I'm cute, like, I'm smart, you can't tell me nothing, I'm the top of the top. And it's like, I realized that maybe I was getting away with that, but that's just not the proper way to go. And that was part of the reason why their relationships were failing. And so I wrote this book to not only heal them, but to make them super confident so they could unleash their inner goddess and so that they could learn how to treat a man like a king. Because I would also see women say stuff like, oh, he doesn't deserve that. And that was weird to me. Like, because I'm like, why would you be in a relationship with a man who's not worthy and deserving of you showing up as a queen and giving him your all? So, that's what that was about. And then a lot of women too, they didn't know their purpose. They didn't know how to make money. So I put that in the book too. So I just created an entire book that if you are my tribe or woman, oh my God, it is life changing. So they start to attract these high value men. And then now we're on to the men's book.
Is that coming? Is that what you're working on now? You said a man's book?
No, the men's book is already published. That book is called Play to Win, Become the Dream Man Women Love, Respect, and Submit to. And I wrote that book because I was unaware that a lot of my male followers are very brilliant. And so they were like reading my women's book and they were like, oh my God, this book is so amazing. They was like, I love it. Like, can you write a book for us? And I was like, maybe. And then, yeah, I sat down and I wrote a book for them. It's a really good book, especially for men, because men, you guys are often told like your only value and worth is how much money you have and, what you have to offer a woman. And so I did a lot of healing in that book too, so that men can know that you are valuable, you are worth something. But also, when you come up on a woman like me, you don't come with those little childhood games, or you're not listening to the beta dudes on YouTube who tell you to mistreat women. But you actually know how to show up as a king and how to treat a woman like a queen and to build your empire and create a legacy, travel the world, and just live that whole dream life you wanted by having a healthy, conscious relationship.
I love that. I love that. I love that you listen to your audience. You take what you see and you try to find a way to give back to them. as in an improvement, helping them see value in a relationship, whether it's with a man or a woman, and just implementing that via book, which they can read and learn and interpret it that way. So I think that's amazing that you did that for men and women. Also, where can people find your books?
So my books are available at www.kissydenise.com, or you can go to Amazon. If you go to me, you basically get them from me. But if you want them overnight, get them from Amazon, especially like if you want the ebook version. Those are all on Amazon.
Okay. Thank you for that. I just want to tell my audience, go check it out. If you're struggling in those areas we just discussed, it will definitely be beneficial to you. So go check her website or Amazon. Let's talk about what did I was just reading it. Reality Decoded Masterclass.
Mhm.
What does that entail?
Okay, so reality decoded is one day, you know how sometimes you're just sitting around and you just like have these revelations and you become aware of certain things in life. And I had the revelation that we really are living in this 3D matrix world that's actually not real. And the way they trick people into believing things, like most people, when you ask them why they don't have something, the first thing they're going to say is, I don't have the money. I don't have the money. I don't have the money. Or I have to wait till I get the money. Or I need the resources. And so, because people, that's their belief system, it keeps them stuck, right? So they think they have to have money before they can be the person they always wanted to be and do the things they always wanted to do. But it doesn't work like that. The way it works is be, do, have. When you be the person you always dreamed of being and take the actions of that person, you will then manifest your desires. So my reality decoded masterclass is to bring people to a state of truth, to help them learn how to tap into God's world, because spirituality manifestation is really just based upon God's words in the Bible, but it's like a little deeper than that. You get a deeper understanding, and just teaching them how to be prosperous, because what a lot of people don't know, if you consistently be the person you are called to be for 30 days or more, like you'll be that person and you'll have the things, but that's too hard for people to believe. And so the master class is shifting people over into that belief system.
And that journey takes less than 30 days. You think people can tap into that and get into
Well,
that mindset?
it's going to take a lot, because you've been living the way you've been living all your life, and you're told it's hard and you're told it's impossible, and then I come along like, hey, this is actually easy, this is all you have to do. So now your limiting beliefs are going to come up. And now, just like when you're ready to shift to the next level, people usually say, oh, the devil comes, but they don't really know that they are the devil, right? They are their own devil, like the negative beliefs, right? And they stop you because you're like, oh, I can't do this. Or you have a bad day, and instead of ignoring the bad day, you just feed into the bad day, which is actually repelling what it is that you desire, right? So when you are always talking negative, when you're in dark energy, or you're kind of desperate, like when notice they say when the richer get richer and the poor get poorer. And the reason for that is because rich people live in a state of abundance. They're accustomed to living in a state of abundance. So they are expecting of more abundance. So because they are expecting of more abundance, they get more abundance faster versus people in poverty. They're used to lack, right? So if you're focusing on lack all the time, you're going to get more lack. And so people can understand this. Somewhere in the Bible, it says God is no respecter of persons. And that is really what that means, is that the universe works the way the universe works. It doesn't matter who you are. If you say, you know what, I like being miserable, I like being unhappy, the universe will give you more of that, because God ordered the universe to honor you. But if you say, oh my gosh, I like being happy, I like being in love, right, which is me, I attract more love, I attract more happiness, I attract more followers, I attract more money, and I just attract all these magical, amazing things to me because I love staying on this delusional part of life. And just so y'all know, that's how you're going to get where you want to go. You got to be a little delusional kid again, because God is your father and his answer to you is always yes. But you have to believe that, right? And in order to achieve anything, you have to believe it by first seeing it in the mind. And when it's in the mind, God put it in your mind. First of all, a lot of people don't know that God put that in your mind to push you and move you forward. And if he puts it in your mind, he's going to supply the dream for you if you believe, right? And so I just told you all that, and it's so easy. But then somebody can knock on your door and be like, you know what, life is so hard, I'm so tired, da 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 da, right? Your energy goes down and you go back into their belief system versus the one that was implanted in you. So that's basically what the Bible is for and what God has been trying to tell us. Like, you are born prosperous, you are born rich, you are born abundant by divine law. And we actually don't have to work as hard as we think we do for money. You just create a system to let the money flow in, and you allow God to bless you by staying praised up, which is gratitude.
You're just a wealth of knowledge. Amazing, amazing. Thank you. I just have like 5 more questions. Um, what are some ways you think my audience, if they're dealing with this, how can they release some limiting beliefs that
Okay,
are
that's really
protruding
cool.
that they can't get to that energy?
So, one way is to manifest something very minor, is to just open your mind and decide you want something very minute. Like, you don't even care about getting it, like maybe a new tire. I mean, anything that you don't really care about. Just think in your mind, like, yeah, that would be nice. And let it go. Don't even think about it anymore. And then just watch it pop up as evidence. And number two is, I have a weekly mastermind of men and women who show up every single Tuesday to hear from me. And they don't care if I put together fancy programs that keep them confused. All they really need is for me to keep them going, to keep them motivated, and sometimes to keep repeating the same strategy to them that I've told them to do 5 times, but maybe they were going through something in life at that point and they were unable to implement it, right? And so just loving on them because I see them helps them keep going. So join an accountability group. Like, a lot of us, we have groups like, some are $2,000 a month, some are 97, some are $55. Just find one that you can join, hold yourself accountable, show up and do the work. And like, I sell a course called 10K in 30 days. Like, it's just a simplified course. But most people want to buy the $1,000,000 course, when it's like, why don't you want to buy 10K in 30 days? Because once you master that, then you'll be able to make $1,000,000. But that's not what they want. But if you just buy a course from someone who you know has put good effort into it and you apply it, you will win. And lastly, consistency is the name of the game. Some people right now, the only reason you're not a millionaire, the only reason you haven't made 6 figures is because you're inconsistent, right? And you have to be consistent with the right energy. And when I say the right energy, that means don't be neglecting yourself. Take care of yourself, love on yourself, because your job, your business, it's not you. It's not who you are. Even though it's a representative of you, stop being tied to it like glue. Like, work on that business, go out and have you a good time. Work on that business, go out and have you a good time. Take care of yourself, because the secret that a lot of people don't know is the more fun you have in life, the more you'll be successful. Like, we've been tricked into this hustle culture that tells us we can't have any fun. And when we're smart, we're like, yeah, cool. I'll sacrifice fun so I can build this business. Like, it's no big deal. But like I said, I spent 16, 17-hour days on that blog trying to make it successful, like going crazy. And when I prayed, right? So different energy. So the key to life and success is to take care of yourself and to create a system of being successful that allows you to take care of yourself. Because little do you know, God is a businessman. That's why he gave you an idea to create a business, and you are your biggest business. You are your best investment because you have to take care of this vessel, right? And what you want to do is to be happy, right? So when you get up every day, what makes you happy? What does your dream life look like? Start living that way and stop waiting for someone to give you permission to do it. Stop waiting for the money to show up and do it and to feel worthy of it. The more worthy and deserving you feel of having millions of dollars, the more millions of dollars will flood into your bank account. The more worthy and deserving you feel of love, the more you'll attract people who love you the same way you love yourself. So everything in life is energy. Just have better energy, you'll attract better things. And watch your mouth because your word is your wand.
I agree. I agree. Anything can happen from the tip of your tongue. It can it can have an effect, negative or positively. But let's talk about where can people. I want people to work with you, especially if they enjoy this podcast. Where can they find your courses so they can get on that track to um, their whatever their success is, as far as 10K millionaire or and etc.
Okay, so all of my courses can be found at kissydenise.com/courses, or kissydenise.com links is where I sometimes put specials for social media. But basically, my website, following me on social media, a lot of times on social media, I end up offering people random prices for courses because it's just fun. Like sometimes people say, on one page like, oh, I can't afford your courses, and it's like, you can, you're just not following me on the right page to know that I do have things you can get sometimes. So just following me on all my social media accounts, which is Kissy Denise everywhere, especially on Facebook, and tapping in with me, and yeah, you'll be able to get a course that will completely change your life. Sometimes I do free strategy sessions, sometimes I do like love calls. I do all types of things to like give back to people. So there's just always an opportunity.
Okay, so I just want to tell the audience, all the links will be below. So if you want to just tap on it there, you can reach it. My last, where do you see yourself actually, before I get to that question, how important personal branding is? I see that you attach Kissy Denise to everything.
Look at you, somebody peep game, huh? So personal branding, I always felt like my name was valuable. So I never wanted to be like undercover, hiding things. I just always thought Kissy Denise, Kissy Denise, Kissy Denise. And so when you really believe in your name or your brand, like people will follow you. Like I did not blog for like 2 years, and I recently started back blogging a couple months ago, just here and there. And my stuff is going viral already on my Crime with Kissy because Kissy is a brand. Like people are familiar with it. They're like, it's like an addiction, right? And so your personal brand is really important. It will carry you, throughout life. And even so, like sometimes when I go places, people run up on me. They're like, oh my gosh, are you like Kissy Denise? And I'm like, yes, right? Versus being a bigger brand, you can be a bigger brand like the Shade Room or Baller Alert or something like that, but people won't know you. But if we look at somebody like Hollywood Unlocked, Jason Lee, he's out there in front. He made sure that he branded himself and that he made himself a king. And so it's best to brand yourself so that, it's like you build your own celebrity in just by using your own name that God and your parents gave you. It's like the easiest game in the world. Like, why not use it?
And plus, I guess you can leverage that with whatever you do, products, services, and it makes it easier for people to connect with you, especially when it's your name. They don't have to go on that trying to discover who you are because you have a name that doesn't resonate with you. So I definitely understand. That's
Yeah, it
very
comes with
important.
a built-in trust factor. And so that's
Yes,
another
exactly.
thing. Like, because I have a built-in trust factor, Like I said, I have my own makeup line. I have a dream life manifestation planner. I sell books, coaching, blogging, speaking. Like I can literally do anything because I was willing to put myself out there under my name and be authentic.
That's amazing. You're amazing. I love everything you're doing. You're inspiring me. But
Oh,
I have
thank
two more
you.
questions. Where do you see yourself in 5 years with everything you're doing? Like as far as your goals?
So in 5 years, I will definitely be the highest paid number one motivational speaker in the world. I will have changed at least 22 million lives by then. And I will own this very, very, very tall, beautiful building that people walk into and their lives are really changing. And, that company is my Millionaire Soulmate Charm School. Like I really see that being something major to change the world, and not just in relationships but in business too, because in order to live the life of your dreams, you got to have two things. You got to have money and you have to have love, right? If you do not have those two things, you are not living the life of your dreams. And the reason you don't have anything is literally based upon you, who you're being. Everything you attract in the world is based upon who you're being. So when you fix your relationship with yourself or improve your relationship with yourself, it will improve your life, because everything outside of you is literally just like this illusion mirror image of everything that's going on inside of you. So that company is going to help people, more people become millionaires. It's going to heal people. It's going to match people up. It's going to make so many couples who literally come in, take over the world, put God's name on the map again and again, and change millions of lives. That's the plan.
I think that's amazing. And then it's just connections. With that charm school, it's great to have that personable connection with people.
What do you mean?
Like if they're meeting there, I'm all about connection, like social connections, just meeting people, then you just having that mutual connection, that bonding. So I think that's important. That's just kind of what I thought about when you said charm school.
No, you're right, and that's the main thing, like communication. Because when people don't have good relationships, they don't know. It's the way they communicate. When you want to make more money in your business, the better you communicate that you're able to solve people's problems, the more you'll make money. Like we all know, the top marketers who make the most money are marketers. Their courses be like crap, and we all kind of laugh because we're like, yeah, they're like the best marketers, right? So people buy from that. But we all, the good-hearted people, my thing is teaching the good-hearted people how to be great communicators so that they can have great relationships, and so that they can, be uplifted and to actually change the world.
Okay, that leads into my last question. Actually, it's a double-sided question. First, I'm gonna ask you, are you single? And if you're not, how you kind of manage your business, whether you're looking for a relationship or whether you are in a relationship. How do you kind of manage that?
I'm single, and so before, I honestly was not doing a very good job of that. I was so into building my business, like I barely dated. I was just like, no, I got to do this. I got to do this for my business. I got to do that. So what I have learned how to do this year is to actually, like, on, I think it's on Wednesdays or something. Like I have on my calendar at 6 o'clock, like date night, like to remind myself to get up and date. And I actually make effort now to not be a little nerd, because I'm such a nerd. Like people don't know that I'm such a nerd. And to go out, leave the house, go places and meet people. Because if you really think about this, a lot of the reason why successful people shifted into life coaching and other things, or people who've already made a lot of money, is because you wanted balance, right? And so the balance is living your life while continuing to run the business, but also, hiring more people so that I don't feel like, oh my gosh, I always have to be working. And so how I did that is, like I said, my coaching, one, she does tapping like this and stuff. So it helped me heal my beliefs. Like one of the beliefs that I recently healed is that I don't have to do anything to make money. Like I've done enough. Like when I leave the house, it's okay that I'm not on the internet, marketing, and that I'm still entitled to sales. And so that is a form of trust, trusting God. So everything is like just leading us to trusting God. Like once you've done the work, like, oh, okay, cool, right? And so, that, and then also like I constantly remind myself, okay, go out on more dates, go out on more dates, go out on more dates. And just to really get into it because I feel like I'm worthy and deserving of it now. Before, I just felt like, oh, I have to make this new business successful. So also, a lot of women don't understand when you're constantly working on your business, you're in masculine energy. And so when you get around a man, you might not know how to act around him because you're so used to masculine energy. And so just reminding myself of how much fun I have in the presence of a man, how I'm able to relax and enjoy myself, remind myself of that. And that helps me go out on dates more. So yeah, I've been dating for like probably 3 months seriously. So yeah.
I think that's powerful, and I think that's amazing that you're going out doing that for yourself because it is all about balance eventually, and it is easy to just overwork to accomplish your goals, but you do want to have some type of balance. I think that's amazing. So before we get into this, I like to do an I don't active health round. It's just going to be 2 questions, but before I get to that, I want to say thank you for coming to the I don't active health show. This has been an amazing conversation, and you are an amazing person. Everything you're doing, your courses, how you're trying to teach people, uplift them, and just open their eyes to maybe things that they don't notice or not willing to notice unless someone brings it up. Like you said, we don't notice a lot of things about ourselves. It's easy to judge others, but we can't really see what we're doing wrong or where we're lacking.
Right. Well, thank you for having me. I definitely had a good time because I'm like, suddenly I'm doing podcast interviews and stuff. And I'm just even about that. I'm like,
I can see you
God
doing
is
that.
always on time.
Do you
God is.
have a podcast, by the way?
I do have a podcast called Millionaire Soulmate Charm School, but it's time to be a little more consistent on that.
I can see you doing that. You have amazing personality, pretty face, and amazing information for people, which is so valuable now in this age. The right
Oh,
information too, because we have a lot of information. All of it's not valuable, but I feel like you have valuable information, which is important. So, my first question is, how do you go about lowering your cortisol levels or stress levels? Because sometimes when you're overworking, doing so much, you get stressed. How do you kind of alleviate that in your life?
oh my gosh, this more good questions. So I have three things. So number one is called wine, but I don't really like drinking so much anymore unless I go out. So I keep wine in the house, uh, red wine, just in case I get a little too overwhelmed that I can have a drink. And usually a wine bottle will sit there for a month or 2 or 3 before I even touch it because I've managed that so well. I'll talk to a friend and tell a friend what I'm going through and really just get it off of my chest. Because a lot of times when you just confess, things get better for you, right? Because you're willing to confess it, right? And let it go. And so the third thing that I do is sometimes I get up in the morning, early in the morning, and I put on my little tennis shoes and my little cute little workout outfit, and I just walk down the street and I see the trees, I see the flowers, I see people, and I might walk for 3 hours. Like, I mean,
Wow.
there and back. Like, I will just go and I'll take pictures of things and I'll be like, oh my gosh, like, I just like nature and God and, read the Bible. And I'm always listening to high vibrational sounds too, like affirmations, meditations. Like a lot of times, like if you're stressing about money, you just listen to a wealth meditation, and it's going to help you program your mind and remember that you're really tripping right now. And other than that, it's just to get up and do something to distract yourself. Learn to not stay in the energy of it, because a lot of times it is what we're feeling is real, but the thought process of, like, if we think, oh my God, the worst thing in the world is going to happen to me, most of the time it never happens. And so there's all these illusions, and just stand away from the illusions, stand in the middle with God, meditating, talking to your positive friends, high vibrational groups, music too, music. I love me some Jodeci, and sometimes I be like in the house trying to twerk to like other type of music. So there's a couple of different things, and also I have a new addiction called mangoes with chamoy and tahini. And for some reason, every time I eat these mangoes with this chamoy and tahini, I get so happy. And the reason I get happy is because, you know, um, there's this whole human design thing, but I'm meant to like cold foods, right? So, anyways, it makes me really happy. So, as you can see, when he said that, I just shift my mind. Okay, what can I do to make me happy? And then you do something until the stress goes away, because the stress is always going to be there. The anxiety is always going to be there. You have to continue moving past it, because it's just a human thing to feel it. And don't feel like you're special. You're the only person in the world stressing out right now because everybody else's life is perfect according to social media. Like, none of that stuff is true. We all go through things, and just like keep going. Like just remember, like, you got to keep going, because one day you won't have like that kind of stress. It'll be like a better stress. Like, oh my God, how am I going to manage $4 billion? Stress gets better.
Yeah, that was an amazing response, amazing answer. I love how you kind of just tap into what makes you happy, so you can redirect how you feel. So I think that's important for anybody going
You
through
just
stress.
pinpointed it. Whenever you're stressed out, that's a sign that you're thinking improperly. Because when you go think about what makes you happy, you're thinking properly, and then your emotions change. So you just set the game.
Exactly. Hope my audience taking notes so they can keep that in mind. Ash, my second question, which is the last one, how do you keep balance in your business and your health? Because as important as it is growing a business, you also want to be healthy, healthy in your mind, healthy in your body. So let's end off on that.
So right now, for me personally, it's like if I see myself getting too out of hand, I go to the gym. But mostly, I manage my diet, and I've been doing that quite naturally for years. Like, I fast in the morning times. I have a lot of fruit. I don't like pile a lot of like food in the fridge, and I just don't overindulge. So like when y'all see me on social media and I'm out, I had steak, lobster, and shrimp. That doesn't mean I'm going to eat that every day. So I just kind of balance it so that I'm not eating too much, and just making myself aware that health is wealth. Like, get up, go to the gym. Like, it's not just so you can look cute, but it's, so that you can feel good. Or even when I'm walking down the street, it's part of my health routine. And so I'm not like the super big on health like some of my friends are. I remember she was talking about some type of water or something. By the way, drink a lot of water. Like, I don't buy a lot of juice, right? And I don't put like over amounts of salt on all of my food. So it's just balancing things so that you're never overdoing it.
Well, I just want to say thank you again for coming on this show. Kissy, it was amazing talking to you. Just you have a amazing thought process and your outlook on the world. So I want to say thank you on behalf of my audience, and they definitely enjoyed you as well.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm so excited, and it's Saturday. I can take my blazer off now and, you know, go be cute.
Exactly, you're doing a great job at that right now. But yeah, thank you. I want to say it was just an amazing conversation.
Oh, thank you. Please.